Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome everyone to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have us talk with Nick Barrett. And let me tell you about Nick. He is a creator of CordBrick and founder of CordBrick LLC. He's an entrepreneur and product developer. A recovering alcoholic of 7+ years, his mission is to build something, extends beyond patented creation to inspire others build something, I guess, to build something and to share their creation in the world.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about building something to free your mind. And, you know, we always like to talk about how powerful our mind is in creating great things and sometimes not so great things. So I'm anxious to talk with Nick about this. Please welcome my guest, Nick Barrett. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks, Vicki.
So we always start out with a very easy question. Just tell everybody, where do you live?
I'm in Naples, Florida right now. We've been getting hammered with rain the last couple of days and maybe some more today. So it's been fun.
Well, it's funny. I was just interviewing someone yesterday that was from Naples. Very cool. All right.
It's a growing community down here.
Yes. So talk about your journey. We mentioned that you had your alcoholism that you are recovering from. Excellent. But, you know, when you were a young guy, what was your dreams and aspirations, and how did the journey change its path over time?
Yeah, great question. The journey has changed its path a lot along the way. I think one of the toughest parts for me was just determining what that path was and trying to figure out like what path to walk with the skills and talents that I have. You know, I used to think I don't want to do anything that I'm not really good at. And, you know, I mean, I think that goes for most people. It's enjoyable to do something that you're talented at or that you have a natural affinity for. And so I just wasn't really sure what that was. So I jumped around to a couple different jobs. I started in marketing. I had originally started majoring in engineering, but didn't like calculus. So I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel there or where that path led. And then I kind of jumped around to property management. And so, you know, that indecisiveness for a while kept me from, you know, really traveling a focused path towards what I'm doing now, which is the, you know, product developing and inventing consumer products for this brand. And so, you know, after thinking of the idea and kind of just not, you know, being indecisive about, you know, going forward with it and deciding this is what I really wanted to do, was launch a company and create a product. But once I did that, after a couple of years, I started to kind of develop that talent for doing the, you know, product development. And so last year we launched a new product that just came out early in 2024, DeskBrick, just kind of a bigger, better version of CordBrick. And then we've got other brick type products, 2 of which we've developed and we're about to do prototyping for this year. So my speed in developing those products has increased. And I think I've kind of found a niche where my talents and now my expertise of the last 3 or 4 years is starting to develop into a real skill set that hopefully can create this, you know, marketable brand that we can eventually one day sell.
Awesome. You know, brother, who's a year younger than me, spent several years being an inventor and developer of products. And it was interesting to watch how excited in the creative process he got. And, you talked about doing things that you're comfortable in, skill sets that you have that you're really good at, but that gets boring. And so I think that, if you are a creative person, problem solver, even in some cases, having that inventor journey in your path is, I think, probably one that's exciting for those in the audience that might have that. Not to say that there aren't some very, very frustrating and down times, but definitely can be very fulfilling.
Yeah, and I think, as you go along, you're honing your skills and you're just finding your way. So yeah, it's just been a very rewarding journey for me to then find that thing and try to not keep it boring. I mean, I think that you need to keep your challenge at an optimal level. So you need to keep challenging yourself. I mean, that's one of the ways that it doesn't get boring. And I think to me that kind of comes back to play, right? I mean, that's what play is it's engaging in an activity at an optimal level of challenge where you can lose, because you're playing, ideally playing a game, competing in some way, and so, but you could do that with yourself and what you're doing in your job, and I think it becomes enjoyable when you're constantly upping your game and challenging yourself and developing those new skills and playing at it, and I think that's how it has become enjoyable for me.
For sure. So CordBrick, you when you first thought of that, what was that, I guess, that realization or that aha moment? You're sitting on the couch watching the game or something, and you think, if I could get these chords organized. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, really, really simple. I was in bed and just, I don't know if you're recording, if anybody's watching, I'm sitting with a bed behind me right now. And there's nightstands on either side. And so, I used to have trouble falling asleep and small things would annoy me. And I think the way real, good inventions are created is through identifying a problem. And I just thought, why can't I have a little brick that I put on my nightstand or on my bedside, even on the corner of my sheet, that will hold my phone cord just right there. And I can use my phone right before I go to bed because I'm just that kind of person, set my alarm, whatever else, or turn my alarm off, and reach my phone and my cord not fall on the floor. So I don't have to go retrieve it next time I'm either getting in bed or, I get in bed and I forget that my cord is on the floor and I got to get out of bed and wake myself up and go get it. And, it seems like a small problem. However, when you solve it every single day, it's one less problem that you're dealing with every single day. So I looked in the market and I didn't see anything that was anywhere similar. And I thought, well, maybe I can get a patent on this because I knew I would have to protect the intellectual property because it would be easy to knock off. And so I started working on that and filing those patents. And we found that there was a space for some intellectual property to carve out for us. And we recently actually were granted our utility patent, and it issues in a few days from now, June 18th. So we're excited about that. It just kind of protects our brand in the US. And that's, what makes the company worth acquiring is people can acquire our intellectual property and then have the rights to sell this unique product that I think serves several uses. For me, it was the cord falling, but then I thought, you can wrap your cord around it too. And so you snap, wrap, trap, release, unwraps your cord untangled. And then we had some other things happen along the way that I like to call happy accidents. So I actually figured out that the product could do more things than I originally had designed it for after I already made it. So it was really exciting to kind of see these other related uses, like for your phone, to stand your phone and prop it up and stuff. It even fits AirPods, which I didn't even design into it. It just so happens that it can pop AirPods in there. And I'm like, wow, this is lucky, but I should sell this feature. And sure enough, people like it and use it for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go visit his website. It shows all those things, but it's pretty cool. So
I will.
The CordBrick was on the Today Show, and what was that experience like?
It was really surreal. I mean, you probably are familiar with all these, daytime television shows that have been running for years and years, and I know I am, and just to see my product that I made make it on that show right before Christmas season, and then
Oh my God.
the orders just start flowing in. I mean, it was amazing. They replayed the segment 4 times throughout the day because they do it per time zone, and they just replay it at 9:30 or whatever it was,
Hmm.
and we just kept getting hit with 1,000 orders at a time basically for 4 hours, and yeah, it was surreal. I mean, you get that little bit of exposure, and you see people just buy right then. I think it kind of shows that what I had seen on a smaller scale, which was that when I get the product in front of people and it's demonstrated and sold in the right way, where they communicate what the issue is that it
Hmm.
actually solves and how to use it, people buy it, and
Yeah.
there's definitely a need there for the problem. So it does seem like this is kind of the first product for your nightstand, ideally, that solves that problem in a permanent way. So
Yeah.
you never really need anything else to manage your cord. It's just done and solved. So that was
Uh-huh.
extremely exciting and great for our company to get that kind of recognition.
So the segment is build something to free your mind. So talk to us about Build Something initiative.
Yeah, so initially I had started it because being in recovery myself, just celebrated 7 years sober from alcohol on March 11th of this year. I wanted to give back to some organizations that are helping people do the same thing and connecting them with people and providing them mostly with a safe place to stay, because
Mhm.
you got to change your people, places, and things when you first start getting sober. You got to get away from those environments. Even at your own house can be a tough
Yeah.
place to be if person you're living with has alcohol there. Um, and so sober houses and places that manage these type of facilities always need more rooms. So there's an organization in our town. I decided to start donating to their, not very much yet. We're a very small company, but it's important to me to kind of give back to those organizations to help me get through some of my tough times. And then what Build Something has evolved into right now is um, I go and speak to some entrepreneurship students and love engaging with young entrepreneurs or inventors of any kind to kind of share any of my wisdom. Not
Mhm.
unlike and many other entrepreneurs, we as entrepreneurs, I think you love kind of sharing your opinion and
Yeah.
telling other people what you've done and accomplished, and you're permanently selling, your business and your company that way. But it's really rewarding. The 12th step in Alcoholics Anonymous is to share that mission with other, or your learnings, your wisdom, your experience with other
Yeah.
people, and so the same thing goes for developing a product. It's really enjoyable to share a lot of these things that took me a year or more to figure out with some other people to help get them to where they want to be faster. And the reason I want to do that is I really do think that if we elevate the ideas of the individual and we get more ideas out there, the best ideas will rise to the top, the best products
Hmm.
will get to more people, and those things are what add value to our lives. So I think that's the way to help us all improve our lives, is by getting the best ideas exposed, and the way to do that is to give people the ability to make businesses out of their ideas and share them with the world and get them distributed well. And I think with all these artificial intelligence tools and other things we have these days, it's becoming easier and easier for the little guy to start something up small and get the word out quite
Hmm.
cheaply and easily.
So as I mentioned, my brother had been doing this, and when he started, oh gosh, in early 2000s, there weren't all the things that they have now. Now there's Kickstarter and different things. But talk to the folks about if someone out there has an idea, how do they get started? What should they do? You talked about the AI. You have to have logos, you have to have websites and social media presence. So just talk about what is it that you should, maybe the first three things you should do, perhaps.
Well, you should, number one, you should try to determine if you are an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial type of person. Um, Not everybody
Yeah,
is kind of
that's true.
cut out for the life, and I think it's important to be honest with yourself about where you are in your life, what your situation is, and what it allows for. You know, I've had to go quite a bit in debt to my investors on this company to launch it. And if I hadn't been in a decent position before then, and hadn't kind of taken it at the pace that we've taken it at, so far, we could have done this in different ways. We could have taken less money and gone slower, taken more money and gone faster. But you pretty much you're going to need to take money from people. So it's a very stressful time to do that. And there's 1,000 things you have to learn along the way that you don't expect that you're going to have to learn. I think one of the tough things about being an entrepreneur is that you have to do everything. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but that means you have to learn all the tools. You have to know how to do every aspect of your business better than anybody else, at least at first, because you can't pay anybody else to do that at first. So, the first thing is really determine, am I cut out for this? Is this something that I really am passionate about, want to pursue, and have the talent and skills for? The second thing I think would be to start literally sharing your idea. And people are like, oh no, someone's going to steal it. Like, no, they're not. Probably not. And if they do, they probably won't steal it until you've already been successful for it. If people want to take ideas that are showing that there's a new market for something, or copy ideas that are, already proving that a market exists. And usually when you first think of an idea, there isn't a market there for it. You haven't done it. No one's done it. So what you need to do is you need to kind of hash out with everybody helping you, what are the things I really have to do to make this business successful, and get people to punch holes in your idea so that you can make it better, faster. So, and the other thing is, it's your idea, and no one's going to have the real vision of where it's going to go like you are. And so it's unlikely that someone's just going to come in and steal your idea, especially early on. So I would say, determine if it's right for you, determine if your idea is, something that's legitimate and that's a need. And that means that there's customers that exist that will pay for it. And, you can determine that with not a lot of money put in, usually pretty quickly. You may even be able to get paying customers before you have any product whatsoever, which is a great way to, prove your business model. But then you've got to figure out too, what is my exit strategy? And people often forget that at the end, because your exit strategy really determines everything you're going to do along the way, because it is the light at the end of the tunnel. It is the path that you're supposed to follow. And you've just got to figure out what that path is. But if you have an aiming point, that makes it a lot easier. So, talk to people who've exited or who have planned their exit strategies in a similar type of business, so you can figure out what that's going to look like for you, and if that's even possible.
You talked about the fact that you patented this, and especially something that is first to market. I know that the patent process is not short. So at what point did you feel comfortable enough to start that process?
Yeah, I think that's a really insightful question, because in intellectual property, you've got two different types of patents: the design patent, the utility patent, as you know. And a utility patent requires quite a bit more than a design patent. For those who don't know, a design patent is more how the product physically looks, very specific pictures mostly are what's included on the application. And so the problem with that is that if someone changes just a very small thing about that design, then your design patent might not cover it. So, we did go ahead and get the design patents first. I got a design patent on an old design, which I basically have never used. So I have patents that, aren't very valuable. However, we did apply for the utility patent for this product, and that includes both drawings and written claims. And so what we've been able to do with the utility patent is protect more of how it works. If you have seen Shark Tank, that's always what they're asking is, do you have a design utility patent? They prefer the utility patent. It's much more expensive, much more difficult to get, but it protects you a lot more. And so we first filed a provisional patent. I actually extended that provisional patent for 1 year to while we continued writing the full patent application. I was lucky enough to have an old family friend that is a patent attorney. And so we've come up with a very creative retainer arrangement with him, where I keep my costs down, but I kind of pay him in advance for work that's going to be done. We're sort of investing in him as our patent attorney. So you've got to kind of come up with these creative ways to finance stuff in the beginning and figure out, when should we invest in this intellectual property and how valuable would it be? We determined pretty quickly that we were going to need and want that utility patent if we could get it, at least the patent pending, for a while. A patent pending kind of leaves what your patent is about in the dark for some time to some people. So, it lets the USPTO know that you have your idea and sort of what it is, but it doesn't sort of tell anybody else that idea. And then once you file your full application, it's open to the public. So after that, people can decide based on what they read if they want to copy you still, or if they think that they can make something that could kind of get around what you filed. So then it's kind of open season. And so it's interesting. We've seen a knockoff appear this year, and we're going to try to get them taken down because I believe they are infringing on us. But as I said, my utility patent issues in like 5 days from now. So until we get that number, we officially can't even do anything. So it's a very interesting process, but we look to be in really good shape with the intellectual property that we were able to secure. Cords have been around for some time, and cord management devices and things have been patented quite a lot. So at first we weren't really sure how broad our scope of protection could be, but we, with the help of my attorney, we were able to kind of carve out a nice little area, I think, that should protect my device from infringers for some time. So we'll hope and see that, if it's valuable as we move forward.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I do know that one, it's an excellent idea to have a patent attorney. Second is you mentioned that your patent is US, and I know from my brother's experience, in building prototypes, he sometimes went to try to find the least expensive people to help him in his products, which led him over to China. And one of his patent actually, while it was pending, actually got China took it over. So it was very interesting how all that transpired. So I always recommend that you do a patent attorney.
Yeah, you could file an international patent. We did not choose to for the first device that we had. It just was added cost to it, and I wasn't really sure how the international courts would protect us. So it really determines on the case, and so because this is the biggest consumer market in the world, the United States, I kind of thought that the U.S. would be good enough, and I think it is for now. I've seen some knockoffs in other countries, but I'm not even that worried about them yet, because what's interesting is they don't even know how to use the product properly still. I don't know if they're not paying attention to how I'm doing it or what, but so far we're still really the only game in town for this particular thing.
Well, and just like anything, competition makes you better. So that's one thing, but it will then come down to what is your customer service, what is your product quality like, that really will make it. So I wanted to spend. Go ahead.
Your brand. Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, that is really what you're selling at the end of the day, is your brand. And your IP is of course important, but it's all that other stuff: your customer service, your quality, and just how your packaging, your instructions, how your social, how you communicate to your customers. There's a lot of other stuff that's involved too.
So on the topic, build something to free your mind. I love this because as a longtime project manager before I retired, I used to have to problem solve all the time and think of creative and innovative ways. And some of the best ways to do that was to put my mind on something different. And I work with the youth a lot. And years ago, I was a construction coordinator, and I was involved with women in construction, and we did an event every year where we had kids take 1,000 Legos and create something from nothing. And not the Lego kits that you see here where they give you instructions of how to. It's like, here's Legos, find how to make something out of it. And it was such an innovative and again, freeing your mind to say, it's okay that you don't know what the end thing is going to ultimately be made up by, but you know what it's going to look like, or you have in your mind. And so talk to us about the really how this process that you go through as an inventor, as a developer, frees your mind to creativity and innovation that our world needs so much.
I mean, it's a very important thing to do, I think, to to search for what your talent is and to kind of go after it as hard as you can. It has built an extraordinary amount of self-confidence in myself to pursue this venture and to create something. Um, I think that it's hardest to convince people nearest to you of change
Oh,
whenever
yes.
you're changing, whenever, because they're just seeing it up close. And as we all know, if you step back and go away for a long time and you come back, it's that more obvious what the change is in a person or something, or a place,
Yeah.
after you have been away. But if you're always there and you're seeing it all the time, it's not so obvious as it is actually changing. And sometimes something has to kind of hit you all of a sudden and say, wow, this is definitely different. Um, and so um, the validation that you get by actually building something and then bringing it out into the community and people paying you money of
Yeah.
that's very valuable to them for something that you made. There's really not anything else that feels like that I've experienced. And um, I was lucky enough where people were telling me, you need to go on Shark Tank with this all the time. I mean, every other person basically at these local flea markets would say something along those lines. And eventually it got to the point where so many people had said that it's like, okay, this many people can't be wrong, right? If, they've seen the episodes of Shark Tank, they know what kind of people go on there, and they're saying that I would fit with those people. They're the watchers, they're the viewers. So, I mean, that's who Shark Tank's putting on is people who, resonate to the viewers. So, um, that type of validation over and over. I mean, I met Damon John from Shark Tank this past January, and I was confident enough to, when I was showing him my product, know that he was going to like it. And sure enough, he pulled out his phone and started taking a video on his own phone of me doing it. This is the guy that sees thousands of pitches every year on Shark Tank, and decided to take his time and stop and take a video of me, pitching this. So all those people, guess what? They were right. You know, um,
Yeah.
and they're not sharks. They're just average people that are walking around. So it's amazing the type of validation that you can get just from a few people, a small sample, that can give you the message of, is this valuable? And then by doing that, it was able to kind of convince me like, hey, I have a real talent here. So then my mind is able to be freed up for, okay, if I'm really talented like this, then I should be developing this product and that product. And what about this? And other people are telling me, oh, well, just because you've had one success doesn't mean you can have another success. And I'm thinking like, hold on,
Yeah.
like
What product have
we're
you developed? That's always what I say. It's like, what
yeah,
have you?
and so I'm like, look, I've done it once, I can do it again. And so now we've got our second product out, and I'm getting great reviews from it too. And so people are starting to be like, oh, okay. And those are the people closest to me, by the way. So it's taking them a little longer to kind of
Always,
get
always.
what these other people, see right away. Is like, hey, you're an inventor. Here you are, you're doing this, and like this is a great thing. Like
Mhm.
obviously people needed this. I think another thing people said to me, and it really helped free my mind, was, why didn't I think of this? And I'm thinking like,
I know,
well,
always.
I mean, well, I don't know why you didn't think of it. I did, and I just did it. So I'm glad that you think that this is a good idea, because you're saying, why did I think of this? I should have thought of that. That's great. So, I mean, that's just, those things of validation just show you that you're on the right track when you're building something. And, getting that validation helps you to, at least me, to gain that confidence to continue to go do it. So it
Yeah.
did open up my mind and give me that, increased confidence. And here we are 5 years in, and we're growing at over 100% per year.
Awesome.
So, hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah. And it's one of those products that when one person sees you with it, then you have that envy of that. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I need some of those. Where'd you get those?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Where'd you get it? Or, oh gosh, I lost my brick. I have to get another brick.
that's right.
Kind of like, and the earpod things is tremendous because you not everybody gets nice cases or whatever, but
Yeah,
having
you
it
you
right
put them in your
there.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lose them all the time. Yeah, it's just great. What you're doing is awesome. All right, if you are really enjoying this and want to know more about the cord brick and how to get to it, as well as learn more about becoming an inventor, maybe have a conversation with with Nick to see, is this something that you could pursue? It's always helpful, me as a coach, it's always helpful to be there, to be that positive influence for someone that has a creative idea. And so reach out for them. But if you want to know how to do it, and those of you that are just listening, you know the drill. I'll read everything, but you can get all this in my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling. So please subscribe, as well as the findyourleadershipconfidence.com show notes. So those that are listening, the website is CordBrick.com. Simple as that, CordBrick.com. On Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, you can go to CordBrick. On LinkedIn, you search his name, Nick Barrett. Again, that's with 2 R's and 2 T's. Barrett, Nick Barrett. And YouTube, you can go and watch his videos at CordBrick. I'm going to turn it over to Nick to talk about his website, things you can find on there, as well as the other social media and any other information that might help you in deciding whether or not this is something that you might want to do. It's all yours.
Yeah, sure. So please check me out at CordBrick.com, and there's a 20% off little pop-up that comes up. So just enter your email and you'll get 20% off your first order of CordBricks. And that actually increases as you order more. We do volume discounts because people like to have several around their house and order for stocking stuffers, and they come in these cool colors, the neutral colors, your black, light gray, and all that, and some bright popping colors, some aqua pinks, mint green, and a new coral that we just got out. And then we just launched our second product, Desk Brick. It's a larger version. It's got these flexi side pockets. Both of these products, by the way, are also on Amazon. Of course, I'd love if you'd buy through CordBrick.com. Saves me a couple bucks, and it's actually the same price or cheaper. We do free shipping too on the site on all orders. So no matter what size or however many you order, we'll ship it to you for free. We're based in the US. Again, it's a US patented product. And yeah, I'd love a follow on at CordBrick on any of the social medias, or of course, reach out to me. My email is nick@cordbrick.com. I'd love to talk to any other inventors, entrepreneurs, or anyone interested in chatting.
Awesome. Well, so I just think that it's been a wonderful time with you today. You shared wonderful information for those that are perhaps budding inventors, but also, as I mentioned, our world needs to get more open and creative and innovative, and doing things like this, even if it doesn't become a bestseller thing, it still helps you get to that innovation that is so important for us here.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to learn as you go along. So even if your failures often teach you the most, at least for me. So I say shoot for the moon.
Absolutely. So as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.